Welcome to Comfort Kills. It is time to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and confident with being uncertain. In each episode, I am going to introduce inspiring guests, thoughts, and ideas for us to reach our fullest potential. I am your host, Jasmine Sandoval, and together we will take this journey to challenge our status quo and be the best version of ourselves. Welcome back. When is the last time you took a break to refill your cup? I know, global pandemic, I get it. But when's the last time you really took some time out for yourself? The American Psychology Association has a couple of different definitions for different types and variations of stress. We have acute stress, we have episodic acute stress, and we have chronic stress. And I'm sure there are so many more definitions of different types of stress out there, but I just want to tap on these three just for now because these three are pretty important to me. So acute stress is when you are experiencing high blood pressure, high heart rate, back pain, chronic pain, headaches, any of the above, you're anxious. Those are types of acute stress that's happening in this moment right now because of some very direct correlation to something that just occurred, whether it was an incident that may have happened, an accident, or maybe stressful feedback that you may have received. So those are all different types of acute stress that you're feeling in that moment at that very given time as a direct correlation to something that's occurring. It's not good for you to continue to feel different types of stresses. And if you can eliminate a lot of the stress in your life, that's great. Sometimes you work in high stressful environments, such as my husband being a soldier deployed overseas, or a healthcare worker who may work in a high trauma level 1 trauma center, or anything of that nature. You may be anything that you feel like your level of stress is way up here because of the different types of metrics that you have to meet and the different types of work that you perform. Or it could be school stress. It could be you're a student in school, you're full-time in school, whether you're in high school or you're in your doctorate program. There's different types of stress out there that may very, very much impact you and how you perform down the road. So being able to identify that you are having an internal moment, it's very stressful for you. You have to know how to break away from that. So how do you break away from that? In that very given moment in time, do you stop everything that you're doing and just walk away and take a breather? Do you stop for a quick second and do a very 30-second, 60-second Apple Watch type breathing exercise because your watch feels that your heart rate has increased? What is it that you do? Do you de-stress by making sure that every morning you have your workout routine? You do yoga, you go for a run, whatever the case may be. Is that something that you do? What is your way of being able to refill your cup? How do you help with this balance of getting yourself back to where you need to be? That's really important. It's important for you to know what you do outside of work, outside of school, outside of home life. That is something that's specific to you. Is it shopping? Is it retail therapy? Is it anything such as exercise? Is it whatever it could be? It could be arts and crafts. I love arts and crafts. Anything that takes you away to de-stress just for a moment, even if it's physically removing yourself from that environment and going on a vacation. Sometimes that needs to be planned a little bit better, but is that something that you do? You know that you can hold out for as long as you can if you go on that week-long or 2-week-long vacation a year that you planned every time. How do you refill your cup? Also, there's episodic acute stress, which, where you live in the state of tension all the time. You're overburdened by life. So how do you deal with that? How do you handle those types of situations? And then chronic stress. Chronic stress can be a little bit more different. Chronic stress can mean that it's developed from something that's more physiological. So how is it that you handle that? Do you go see your physician provider very often? Do you go to a chiropractor? Do you practice acupuncture? Any of the above. There's so many different ways that you can do it that will help you relieve some of that stress that's in you. It's very important, though, that you find whatever it is. I always like to interview nurses and ask them, what is it that you do outside of here that helps you de-stress? Being in a nursing environment, especially in pediatrics, can be very overwhelming. Sometimes our patients do not have a great prognosis. And so knowing that the patient that you care so much for and that you've been taking care of for the last couple of days or weeks or months, depending on the type of patient and their diagnosis, could mean that one day this patient may not be with us anymore. And how do you handle that? So I need to know that these nurses that I'm interviewing has a way to do something outside of work that is for them. And I love it when I hear I exercise, I go to the gym every morning at 5 a.m. I love it when I hear those who go, who are very actively involved in doing arts and crafts. They love to do those types of things. There are some who joke around and say that, a bottle of wine a night is what they need. And I don't condone that, but I definitely would say that, whatever your way of de-stressing is, good for you, because that means that you understand your body a little bit more than many people out there who does not understand, and they just keep letting the stress build up until they just completely implode. And that's not great either. And we want to prevent that implosion. We want to make sure that you are doing everything that you can to refill your cup and to take some time off, or to take a breather, or to relieve yourself and go to the restroom and just have a little moment of self-meditation. All those things are great to practice, no matter what industry you work in, and no matter what types of projects you're working on, no matter what type of home life you may have. You need to know that if it's something that you can very easily just know how to walk away and have a woosah moment, then that's really important. So think about the different types of stresses that affect you in your life and how it affects you. And think if there's ways for you to change that. Can you remove yourself from that environment entirely, or do you just need to find ways to de-stress outside of there? And what do you do to de-stress? And what I'll do is I'll link down below the different types of de-stressors that you can do. Many different ideas that people may have. I'll compile a list for you, and then that way you can see if anything works for you. Even if it's having some sort of group that you go to. Have you reached out to your EAP, your Employee Assistance Program? Has any of that really come to your mind? If through your employer, potentially you may have EAP services where you can have therapy sessions or have a counselor or anything like that. Never ever tell yourself that you're too good for it, because therapy and counseling and all of the above is great for many people. And I've met very many individuals before who feel like they are above it. And to be quite frank, they're the ones who would be best for it. And so never think that you are above that. And, don't knock it until you try it. Try it at least twice before you say no. And know that those resources are available to you. And if you have great benefits like I do at my organization, you'll know that those are types of things that are available to you as a benefit, and that you can tap into it as a resource, and it is free. If you're in the military, there's Military OneSource back in the day. That may have changed, that may not have changed. If it has, I'll just link that below as well. But there's so many different types of things that you can do. Military OneSource supports military families, supports the couples, supports raising children. It supports in so many different ways. There are tons and tons of resources around for you. If you're in healthcare, there's tons. But we never ever want you to be so overwhelmed with the stress that you self-implode. We do not want anybody to feel that way, and that's why I'm here. And I know that we push mindset and motivation and journey and doing something that's better and better and bigger and doing all these things, but at the same time you need to understand that there's also ways for you to de-stress as well. And I have my techniques I like to do, and I have my little projects that I like to work on, and you just have to do that for yourself. You have to do that so that that take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, nobody will, before you can take care of others, right? And as nurses in the healthcare field, we're so bad about that. We're always busy taking care of everybody else. We're the last ones to take care of ourselves. And so we have to learn that. And I may say it, but I may not always practice it. So I myself know that I have some areas that I need to improve as well. So that's what it is. And that's how we evolve. We continue to evolve by learning and growing each other. And I admit that there are times where I don't take care of myself as much as I should, but we're all here for each other. So I want you to go ahead and take a moment and plan your next escape, disconnect from the world. I understand right now there's so many things going on in this global pandemic and everything right now, but plan a day trip. Plan something that will help you get your mind off of things. Go to the nearest beach, go to the nearest mountain, get a cabin, go fishing, go do anything, but plan your next escape. Find you a couple of different things that you can do that will help you really decompress and de-stress and feel better so that you can come back rejuvenated and 100% again. All right, guys, until next time.
Also, don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the last episode. In the detail notes below, you will find our email address. In this email, you can send us a voice memo of your most uncomfortable journey that led you on the path to your most current side hustle. Remember, if you're sending us a voice memo, you are giving us permission to use your voice memo in our next episode or call you and invite you as a guest on the next series. Keep hustling, and I'll see you on the next episode.